It is everybody's favorite segment, Soundbite. In case you forget what Soundbite is, it is where Steve and I react to different post-game interviews, podcast clips, whatever the case may be. If someone says something interesting that we want to take a listen to, we listen. So today, as of recording today, LeBron appeared on the Pat McAfee show talking about his relationship with Michael Jordan and how it is maybe they're not as close as maybe people think or think they should be. Jordan being, as LeBron puts it, still the ultimate competitor, kind of not wanting to talk until LeBron's career is over. Steve and I feel some type of way about this, which we will get into, but let's take a listen first to LeBron talking about his relationship with Michael Jordan.
Who, me and Michael?
Jordan?
Yeah, we're in a good spot. We don't talk.
Why not, you think?
Because I'm still playing. I think I'm still playing. I'm still focused on my craft right now.
When you're done, you think you two will be the only two that can have a conversation?
I would hope so. You know, the funny thing is, me and Kobe, besides our, the late great Kobe, obviously, me and Kobe never had a real relationship either. And until I became a Laker, and then he retired, that's when our relationship became really, really good.
Yeah.
He welcomed me, called me bro, anything you need in LA, I got you. You're a Laker now, you family. And MJ's, we all know MJ. Even if you don't know him personally, he's one of the most ruthless competitors there is. And till I'm done, and he doesn't have to look at me run up and down wearing the number 23, and every time my name is mentioned with his, he's like, I don't want to fucking talk to you.
Yeah, I want to call.
Like I said, I wear 23 because of MJ, and that shit, the inspiration that he gave me as a kid in Akron, Ohio, that don't have much inspiration in your hometown. You look at something. It got to be somebody in sports, somebody in music, somebody on the TV screen. So Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Michael Jordan playing for the Bulls, Jay-Z, Biggie, and Tupac. That was my inspirations.
So there you have it. There's LeBron talking about his relationship with Jordan. I had just said to Steve literal moments, seconds ago, that every time I have watched this in prep for the show, it has made me feel some type of way. I get kind of not emotional, it just fires me up. This is not the first time LeBron has commented on his relationship with Jordan. And obviously, like he said, their names are going to be in the same place for a long time. What is your reaction to LeBron's comments and how he feels about his relationship with Jordan?
Honestly, it's just sad to me, Cam, because LeBron, what he's meant to this league, being the heir apparent to Michael Jordan, he kind of took the throne after MJ's reign and he became the next thing and, dominant face in the league. And just, to hear LeBron say as a kid from Akron with nothing that Michael Jordan was one of his inspirations. The number he's worn since the day he came into the league is the number that Michael Jordan wore. And to hear that Michael Jordan hasn't reached out or tried to cross that bridge or even make a bridge between him and LeBron James. I found it interesting when he said that him and Kobe never really had a relationship. That's understandable to me. When you're playing at the same time as somebody else and you're direct competitors and, where Kobe was considered the best in the West, LeBron was considered the best in the East. And that is understandable. But the moment he retired, he formed a relationship with LeBron James. Michael was gone and retired by the time LeBron entered the league. So why are you so stuck up and so it's you versus me that you won't even reach out and make a phone call to the extent of, hey, I'm really proud of everything you've accomplished, carrying on the legacy of greatness in the league, everything you've accomplished off the court, et cetera, et cetera. So when I watch this video and I hear LeBron, he plays it off well, but there's a part of him that's got to be sad about this, Cam. And there's a part of him that's got to hurt that 22 years of dominance in a league without your idol really wanting to form a relationship with you.
There are a few things that he said in this interview that really got to me. And one of the main ones, Steve, you pointed out that I think is really telling is Kobe and LeBron. He said they never had a great relationship, but it developed over time. When you talk about carbon copies of Michael Jordan and the next killer and whatever, first person that comes to everybody's mind and who they say is Kobe Bryant, obviously. And Kobe having the Mamba mentality and the you're not going to beat me and the Stonewall, that how big and huge Mamba mentality was and the idea behind it, I think trumped anything. That trumped the Jordan, I take that personally thing, because it was just a different animal within itself that Kobe was in that ideology that he had. The moment basketball ended, Kobe, like LeBron said, embraced him. When he became a Laker, he said, "Let me know anything they can do for you." When LeBron passed him in the all-time scoring list, Kobe said, "Keep it going." I was never a huge Kobe guy. I was not necessarily anti-Kobe, but I was definitely not supporting Kobe on his journey either. But one thing I do respect about Kobe a lot, and something I didn't realize he was so in tune with as I got older and as he got older, was he can separate that things are bigger than basketball. Just like LeBron can, just like all these other current major athletes can. There are things in this life that are bigger than basketball. LeBron James had mentioned that not only was Michael Jordan his basketball idol, but he was looking for other prominent African Americans to look up to and idolize, to show that they can make a difference, they can have an impact, someone he can look up to in his own sense and in his own world, right? And for him to want to have that relationship, it is not just like we see like with Luka and LeBron, where it's that's my basketball idol, I want to be, a part of you in a sense. Jordan meant more than basketball to LeBron, and he can't even give him the time of day because Jordan is a fragile, egotistical baby that God forbid you mention anything above him in the same sentence. Like, I think we all know people, and I think everyone has a little bit of this in themselves as well, where when you are talking to someone or you are hearing a story about, maybe someone is doing something or was a part of something that you wanted to do or see or achieve, whatever the case may be, you do feel a little twang of, I want that to be me. But you don't show it. You're supportive. It's just kind of a part of life as you go on. Jordan thinks he is above feeling those emotions and can just say, I don't have to deal with anyone who comes into contact with me in that area. I can just shut it off. LeBron talked about how they met up at the 75 anniversary and how they had talked and exchanged words and stuff, and that he said that Jordan didn't come up to him. He said it was out of respect. I don't think it was out of respect. I think LeBron, being LeBron, is being nice and saying that. What I think Jordan did by going up to him was not out of respect. It was out of obligation. You can't be in a place like that with eyes on you of that magnitude and not go talk to LeBron James. You just can't. So, I think LeBron was being nice. And I said this earlier about, LeBron and other stars can separate being competitive athletes and being normal people. And at the end of the day, I've also said this, in the grand scheme of life and the universe and existence and all that good stuff, sports do not matter. At the end of the day, this is a game. It has no real bearings, I would say, on societal impacts. It's not like if sports were to all of a sudden leave, the earth or civilization would crumble. So at the end of the day, sports are just that. They're sports. They're fun to talk about. They're fun to watch. They're entertainment. They're so we can have conversations like these. But there is a bigger scope beyond that. So LeBron and Steph, when they were having their rivalry in the 2010s, while intense as that was, at the end of the day, LeBron and Steph are good buddies and respect each other and want to play together because they realize that it is not just about I have to beat you. We are competitive athletes. When you look back at these other all-time great athletes who have good relationships with their teams, like I've seen videos of Kevin Garnett going to Nets and Timberwolves and Celtics practices and helping out those guys get better at their skills. I've seen that with Blake Griffin as well. You've seen Dirk trying to help Luka and mentor him into being the next big thing. Udonis Haslem has a lot of prominence still within the Miami organization. These other athletes can recognize that the game of basketball and the future of the sport is bigger than themselves. Michael Jordan, that's not even in his stratosphere. I just feel bad, Steve, for LeBron because like you had said, and like I had said, that was his idol forever. He said he wears 23 because of Jordan. He wants nothing more than to have this good rapport relationship like he does with everybody else. But because Jordan can't separate reality from this make-believe land of basketball, it just sucks that LeBron has to have that kind of treatment.
one thing you said that I've been thinking about as you were talking was the fact that there are other players currently and who previously, more recently have retired that still are willing to help out the organizations that they previously played on. But even looking at some larger, like more of a macro example of that, when LeBron passed Kareem was courtside and he handed him the ball. Right now, Ovechkin is on the track for breaking Gretzky's record. Gretzky has gone to multiple games that Ovi is playing in. He's not sitting there pouting about the fact that somebody might break his record. He's not pouting about the fact of, another player potentially outshining him in an area of their career. And one thing that you had mentioned that I also just thought about was, what has Michael done for the Bulls since he left that organization? Not even just LeBron James, but like, what has he done to help out the organization that essentially gave him everything? It's just sad to see Michael Jordan as such a selfish person. And that's the best word that I have to describe it, is he's just selfish.
LeBron is going to lead the game of basketball better than when he found it.
I agree.
Michael Jordan couldn't care less about the game or what it comes to the moment he retired. Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.